All right, today we're jumping into a book that really gets to the heart of why it's so hard to make changes that stick. Atomic Habits by James Clear. We've all been there, right? You get super excited to start a new gym routine or learn a new skill, only to be right back where you started a few weeks later. It can feel like you're just spinning your wheels. I mean, does that cycle sound familiar? You've got all the motivation in the world for a day, maybe two, and then poof, somehow you're back to your old ways. It's so frustrating, and it happens to pretty much everyone. And so much of the advice we hear actually pushes us in that direction. It's all about these huge, life-altering transformations. We're told to go big, make this massive change, like right now. But what if that whole approach is, well, just wrong? What if the real key to getting those huge, lasting results isn't about massive action at all? What if it's about starting so small it feels almost too easy? Let's get into it. Okay, so first, we have to talk about this huge misconception that holds so many of us back. Let's call it the myth of massive action. This idea that success comes from one giant, heroic push. The problem is we're always looking for that one defining moment, that quantum leap, and in doing so, we totally overlook the quiet, incredible power of just making tiny improvements every single day. That's where the real magic happens. Which brings us to the core idea of the whole book, the unbelievable power of getting just 1% better. And honestly, when you see how the math works, it is truly mind-blowing. So take a look at this graph. It shows you exactly what we're talking about. See that top curve? That's what happens when you get just 1% better every day. At first, it's barely noticeable, but over a year, it just explodes upwards. And that bottom curve? That's what happens if you get 1% worse. It basically drops to zero. And the final number here is just staggering. If you improve by 1% a day for a year, you don't just get 365% better. Because of compounding, you end up nearly 38 times better. Think about that. That's the power we're tapping into. James Clear has the perfect metaphor for this. He says habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. It's brilliant. Just like your money grows with compound interest, the results of your habits multiply over time. Each one is a small investment in the person you're becoming. And listen, this isn't just a cool theory. It's a proven strategy. It's called the aggregation of marginal gains, and it was the secret weapon behind one of the most dominant runs in sports history, the British cycling team. They literally took every single thing that goes into riding a bike and tried to improve it by just 1%. And they looked everywhere. I mean, more comfortable bike seats? Sure. Better tire grip? Makes sense. But they also hired a surgeon to teach the riders how to wash their hands properly to avoid getting sick. They tested pillows to see which ones gave the best night's sleep. They even painted the inside of their truck white, just so they could spot tiny bits of dust that might mess with the bikes. All these tiny gains added up to total domination. But, and this is so important, progress isn't a straight line. In the beginning, you're putting in all this effort, and it feels like nothing is happening. Clear calls this the valley of disappointment. It's the point where most of us give up because we think it's not working. But it is. Your effort isn't being wasted, it's being stored. You just have to stick with it long enough to see the breakout. So, if we know we're going to hit that valley, how do we keep going? This leads to the next big shift in thinking. It's time to stop obsessing over goals and start focusing on systems. So what's the difference? Well, a goal is the result you want, like winning a championship. The system is the process that gets you there, what your team does at practice every single day. Goals are great for setting a direction, but it's your systems that actually get you moving. Because when you only focus on goals, you run into some serious issues. For one, winners and losers usually have the exact same goal, so the goal itself isn't the deciding factor. Two, reaching a goal is just a temporary change. Third, you're basically telling yourself, I'll be happy when I reach this goal. And what happens after you do? The motivation is gone. A good system is about falling in love with the process, not just the prize. Okay, this brings us to what might be the most powerful idea in the whole book. If systems are what drive results, what drives the systems? The answer is your identity. This image explains it perfectly. Think of change having 3 layers, like an onion. On the outside, you've got your outcomes, your results. In the middle, you have your processes, your habits. But right there at the core, that's your identity. It's what you believe about yourself. Real, lasting change has to start from the inside and work its way out. And this is the fundamental mistake we all make. We start on the outside. We say, I want to lose 20 pounds. That's an outcome. So we focus on a process. I'm going to go on this new diet. But we never address the core identity. This example just makes it click. Imagine two people who are offered a cigarette. The first person says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. See that? Their identity is still a smoker who is resisting. But the second person says, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. Can you feel the power in that? It's a subtle shift in words, but it represents a total transformation of identity. One person is fighting who they are, the other is simply being who they are. So the real goal isn't just to write a novel, it's to become a writer. The real goal isn't to run one marathon, it's to become a runner. Once your identity and your habits are aligned, you stop having to fight for change. You're just acting in line with the type of person you already believe you are. So let's tie this all together. True change isn't about one heroic, massive effort. It's about all the tiny, daily things we do that slowly shape who we become. And if there is one sentence to take away from this entire explainer, it's this one. It's such a powerful truth. Your big dreams don't determine where you end up. It's your daily systems, your habits, that set the floor for your success. And that's why these systems are so powerful, because every small action you take is like you're casting a vote for the person you want to be. When you choose to go for a run, you're not just exercising, you're casting a vote for, I'm a runner. When you write one page, you're casting a vote for, I'm a writer. These little habits are the proof that builds your new identity. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this one question. Just for a second, forget about the massive, life-changing transformations. Instead, just ask yourself this. What is one tiny atomic habit, one simple 1% improvement you can do today to cast a vote for the person you want to become?